I'm going to show you how to set up RAG with o3-mini, which is a thinking model that came out of OpenAI just this week. I'm also going to tell you about this cool thing called query rewrite, which is very useful for chat applications. And this is what the end result's going to look like. You can implement this in your application by the end of the video. So let's break down the architecture of this. First, we have our retrieval system, which I can use something like vectorize.io, which will encapsulate the entire pipeline. So if you want to learn about how to set up a pipeline in Vectorize, check out my other video. But today, I have a pipeline set up already. My pipeline, what it does is it goes onto openai.com and crawl through the entire website, which means, you got the news, you got the new products, you got like OpenAI Playground, all that stuff. And then it'll bring that back as Markdown, and then eventually vectorize or embed that to our vector database, which is Pinecone. As you can see here, I got, this configuration for FileCrawl here, and then I got embeddings model set up down here. And my last but not least, my Pinecone right here. Okay, so once that process is done, and the fun thing about Vectorize is that you can actually set up so that that data is updated on a time schedule, so on a weekly basis or daily basis or just on the weekend, so that you always get the latest information and vectorize that. But once that's done, what we can do is we can actually go into this thing called RAG sandbox. So this is what we're going to do to test our RAG pipeline, just to see if everything is saved properly. So once I'm in here, I have this interface, and I'm going to click on here and choose the model that I want. And you can see there's OpenAI o3-mini here as well, but I'm just going to go with Llama 3.370B, and I'm just going to say, what's new at OpenAI? And what you'll see here is all these chunks that came from the documents, or should I say the websites that were scraped from OpenAI, came back that are relevant to our query. And then we got an answer here, which is your typical RAG system right here. And if you want to check the sources, click on the chunk, see the news. Seems about right. Okay. Well, so let's talk about query rewrite. What does query rewrite mean? It means, what if somebody, usually in a chat application, what if somebody asks you something like this? Tell me more. So in many ways, you can't really take this query and just go and retrieve that, because it lacks a lot of context about what the conversation is talking about. What do they mean by more? About what? That's where query rewrite comes in. It takes in the context of the conversation, which is, I ask the chat AI about what's happening in OpenAI, and then it gives me an answer, which touches on a few different things, and then I'd also mentioned o3-mini. So when I hit tell me more with query rewrite set up, what I'll see is it actually rewrote the question from tell me more to what are the recent developments at OpenAI, and can you provide more details about them? And that's a better question to do retrieval on top of. So now that we know that the RAG system works, let's go to our code and implement this. So we have this pipeline set up. It doesn't just have to be in the sandbox. We can implement that with the code. So we're going to go to connect, and then we're going to go here, set up our access token, and then we're going to copy this retrieval endpoint, which is basically our entire RAG pipeline can be accessed to one endpoint. And choose the language of your choice. Usually, Python and JavaScript are pretty popular, or TypeScript. But here, there's also a template that you can use, which is what I did. So you download this chatbot zip, you go down here, and then now you have a pre-built chat interface, which is basically this. You're gonna go into your terminal, and you can use npm, or you can use, like I do, pnpm, because it's 2025, and why would you want to use npm? You can use pnpm, and you do install. You install all of the dependencies. But because we're using o3-mini, which just came out this week as of the recording of this video, so once you've installed all the dependencies, what you can do is you can npm run dev, or you can do pnpm dev, which will run this command right here to start our Next.js server. And then once that server is started, you have access to it on localhost 3000, if not 3001, 3002, depending on whether or not you have other stuff running in your computer. Okay, so I can ask something like, tell me about deep research. So I know OpenAI just came out with this thing called deep research. Oh wow, this is new. Yeah, this thing right here, and I can click on that, and it's basically a one-to-one, almost one-to-one replica of Gemini deep research, which basically, you tell it a query, it goes online, search for a bunch of like different sources, do some deep thinking before like spitting out an answer, kind of like the old way. So it's more accurate and it can solve more complex tasks. But this just came out like literally 2 days ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask about it. Deep research. And we're going to be using, o3-mini to answer this, which is really cool. Okay. Seems like it works. And let me show you how it works. Let me show you how this project is set up to call both vectorized endpoint and also OpenAI o3-mini, but through Vercel AI SDK. So when you go to this project, you see just go straight to like the well, first of all, you gotta put in the .env.development environment variables, which is for your local development, and just make sure you put in your OpenAI API key and your the model that you want, in our case o3-mini, and then you're gonna go straight to the source app folder, and then go into the API folder for the chat route. This is the API endpoint that we'll use to send a chat request through AI SDK and then to OpenAI, because you don't want to send that through your front end. That's just going to expose your key over the network tab. Yeah, so in here, it's pretty typical. We're just importing a bunch of stuff from like the AI SDK from Vercel, and then this kind of like abstraction from that. And yeah, we're going to pull in the model and then just kind of like, and then this is actually going to do two things. So first it's going to send the question and like the conversation to vectorize, to then do like query rewrite and then do retrieval. And once everything is retrieved, then we send it to OpenAI's o3-mini. So in our case here, it's just literally o3-mini. There you go. And it has really nice type support here as well, because it's AI SDK. It's supposed to be nice. And because it's o3-mini, what we can do is we can have this new property here that says provider options, and we can set the reasoning effort to low. So o3-mini has 3 levels of reasoning, so low, medium, high. Low level is actually on par with o1 model on a lot of different things. o3-mini high reasoning, so if it's high here, it takes a lot more time, but it can solve more complex things. But I don't want to wait, so I just put low here. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then on the front end, you just have this like page here, and then you just parse the message and you just do your thing. And this page is a client component, which just doesn't have to be. So feel free to take this this project and then just roll with it. This is the end result. You're gonna get something like this, which is really nice. You can use this for your project, whatever. So again, this is the easiest way to set up RAG with o3-mini through Vectorize. And through Vectorize, you can also do this really cool stuff called query rewriting to make sure that every query from the user becomes the right query for retrieval. So yeah, thanks for watching.